Hey, today I'm going to show you how to make an Olympic flame. This is something that I thought would be really simple, but it actually is very complicated. And so, since it took me so long to figure out, it took me days and weeks to figure out how to do this. And since it took me so long, I'm going to share with you on YouTube on how to do it yourself. So, the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to take this apart here, okay? That way you can kind of see the end result at first, and then hopefully I'll be able to put it back together so you can see how it is put together. So, as you can see on the video, it looks pretty realistic, but it's not real. It's just a fake flame. The flames themselves are made out of shiny orange fabric, okay? And I would recommend getting the lightest weight fabric as possible, because as you'll see, we've got a fan that's blowing air, and so you don't want a heavy fabric. This is kind of almost too heavy as it is. And as you're cutting out the flames, you probably want to cut like flame shapes to make it a little bit more realistic, make it flag around like that. So let me start tearing it apart. Now you'll notice that there's two cords. That's because there's one cord for the fan and one cord for the light, which you'll see. Okay, so this is looking inside, and here's the flames, and now they are all not doing anything. So I'm going to start tearing apart. Now, as you can see here, I've got, what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 wires crisscrossing. They all cross in the middle. And the flames will flap around the most when they're right above the fan. So I'm going to pull one of these out, show you what one of the flames looks like. And you can see we've just sewn a single strip right here. So we fold over the fabric and then sewn it, so it creates a little loop that we can insert the wire through. So I'm going to pull these wires out. And this wire is just basic. You can use coat hanger. I think we got this craft wire from a hardware store. Just whatever's easy to bend and yet stiff enough to hold the flames in place. And I just took these wires and just kind of bent them so they would go up underneath this rim here, and so they would hold in place. Brought these tools out in case if I need them, but you can really put this together by hand without any tools. Okay, one thing that's important is, even though you sew a little loop at the bottom to insert the wire through, like this, we also have these paper clips, and the paper clips help hold the flames in the right position above the fan. It kind of clips it in place. Otherwise, they have a tendency to kind of blow out towards the outside, and then they just fall down. So you use little paper clips to clip the flames in place over where the air moves the most. All right, now that we've got, you can see if you look really close, there's holes drilled into this bucket. Now this bucket is a planter bucket. You can get it at a hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot. I got this one at Lowe's, and I can't remember the size. I want to say it was 8-inch planter's bucket, but I'm not too sure. But you want to get a planter's bucket that is just bigger than your fan. And if you look closely, you can see that there is a standard 120 watt light bulb. I should say though, make sure that you get an LED light bulb. That's very important. We'll look at it as we get it out here. So if you look closely here, I actually have some insulation, and that is very key. Without the insulation, the air just circulates within the bucket and it doesn't actually blow up past the flames. And you can see on the bottom of this planter's bucket, I've drilled all kinds of holes so that air will come in through the bottom, and the fan will move it up past the flames as they flap around. And you can see that we put this on a stool here. We just turned the stool upside down, and that way there's plenty of airflow coming up from the bottom through the fan and then up past the flames to make them flap around. Okay, continuing on, I'm going to grab this LED light bulb. And you can tell I just had it on here for a while, and it's cool to the touch. You must use an LED light bulb, otherwise the incandescent light bulb will cause things to melt and maybe even start a fire. So use an LED light bulb. For this light bulb socket, I got a it's a light bulb socket with a built-in cord from Lowe's. It had a reflector here with a little clamp, kind of like a trouble light, and you just simply unscrew the aluminum reflector. It's about probably about 6-7 inches in diameter. And I just took that reflector off and put it in the recycling bin. So remember, LED light bulb, very important. That way it keeps it cool and keeps it from catching on fire. You don't want a real fire, you want a fake fire. Okay, so now I've got that out. This is the foam insulation. I got this again at Lowe's. It's like a 2-inch thick foam. You can get it at the weatherproofing aisle department, where they have all kinds of, most of the foam that they use for like weather stop around the doors is very thin. It's only maybe about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch thick. This, I think this is actually meant to go around like a window air conditioner. So it's a lot thicker, and it has a lot of cushion to it. But this, without this will not work. The whole thing, it won't blow the flames up in the air. Alright, now this is the fan. This fan you can get at Walmart for around about, I want to say about $10–15. It's very important that you get one that has a shroud that goes all around. That's important because without the shroud, the air will just circulate around in the fan. It's amazing that air will go everywhere where you don't want it to go. There's a science to aerodynamics, okay? So save yourself a lot of grief and just buy one of these cheap fans that has a shroud built in, and it'll work okay. And that's about it. I've just turned it on to the highest setting. It has 3 speed settings, and I just turned it on to the highest, so that and then I'll just plug it in or put it onto a power strip and turn the whole thing on and off of the power strip.
And that did have a stand on it, right?
Yes, that's right. This did have a stand where you could set it down and position it. I just took it off. I snapped off the covers and found screws underneath of it, and I just unscrewed the screws and took this off. So that was pretty easy to do. That's probably about the only thing that you need to use a tool for. Alright, and again you can see that I've drilled a lot of holes in the bottom of this bucket here. And then I just put the cords through a couple of the holes. And so now I'm going to try to put it back together. So I just put the fan back in there. It just sits on the bottom. There's nothing fastening it to the bottom. All right, and then I'm going to get put the light bulb back in here. This is a 60-watt equivalent light bulb. You can probably use whatever looks good to you. Probably don't want to get too high of a power because then it might start melting the plastic. So 40 or 60 watts probably enough. Okay, and I just kind of smush the foam insulation down in there. And I just kind of smush the light bulb in there. Of course, this has a switch to turn the light bulb on and off. So I try to make sure it's on. And I can't remember if I left it on or off. Okay. Because once you smush it down into the foam, you can't reach the power switch on the light bulb. Okay. And then I just grab these wires here. I'm going to grab some of these flames. Now, I think...
You gotta take the flame off first.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and you just push it through that loop that's formed. I'm not going to put all the flames back on. It just takes time to do that. And I think that you guys get the point. Okay, and then I just take it and bend it. And they just kind of pop into place underneath that rim. Almost done. All right. Close enough. There we go. I don't have the paper clips on there, and so these little flames, they start walking out to the outside where the fan's not blowing, and then they start falling down. So that's why I need the paper clips on there, kind of holding in position, but you get the idea. I didn't put all the flames on there. You know, it's kind of up to you what you think looks best, but that's how we made an Olympic flame. Thanks for watching.